Hi there, welcome to Carcassonne Champions. It's the Champions League Q3 again. Today we'll have 7 matches. One was played yesterday. Hope you witnessed it. If not, you can rewatch, of course. I'll be covering now bignacho610 versus Lord Trooper, the Argentinian duel here. Concurrently, Ernie versus Bluster is covered by Alexi. Same in an hour, I'll covering idinidad versus mtuu, and Alexi will cover Trojas Henao versus King Maori. Matches later today we'll decide later as well. So let's check. First off, it's Bignacho Lord Trooper. As you can see over here, 7-1 in the last games these two had, and most notably, there were 2 instances of best of threes, or quite likely best of threes, if I remember correctly, that is, which Bignacho both decided with 2-0. So I would consider them to be the favorite in this duel here. It's a bit of a shoddy luck for Lord Trooper after being selected by the Argentinian team after they won the fans' choice. And out of the 15 possible opponents, he got drawn his compatriot Bignacho. That's must be pretty annoying, especially for all Argentinian fans, and even more so for these two players. So Bignacho is online. Let's check Lord Trooper with double O, of course. Is online as well. So I would expect these two to start any second now. And then we'll see. I will keep an eye on Ernie Bluster as well, but only in terms of the scoreboard, and if these two might take a longer break in between games. So it looks like they are about to start or have just started. Here we go. First 4 points will go on the board for Lord Trooper. It's a big, tad huge. This should work better. Yeah, my Spanish ain't great. So let's see. Okay, yeah, Fuerza is force, and of course, it's Lord Trooper. May the force be with us, he said to his compatriot Nacho. Which definitely is a nice way to start a game. The beginning looks a tad better for blue here with this monastery, nice city up top. But the road is also fine. Interesting way to attack this. I would have used this option just to be able to either attack or exert pressure on Yellow City, and also to prevent the incoming, or most likely incoming, block by Yellow with many road pieces from here. The one upside of using it this way is that there are less crossroads to block your connection attempt than would have been over here. The 2 roses and the quadruple crossroad, of course, don't fit there. So blue closes their city. For now, it's of course yellow in the lead by virtue of their 9-point field here in the bottom. But hard points, it's still blue in the lead. I'd consider a field to be rather soft points because it's more fluid than other features. Most often, an early field will at least get tied some time in the future. And looky here, there is blue's first farmer. Yellow might consider attacking over here with the straight, even though it slightly annoys their city. But maybe this here is even better. There are still 3 crossroads out there. And yeah, that's exactly what they did. First monastery, and even though you connect or would connect blue's farmer to the main field, is quite likely to happen anyway. So taking the 7-point monastery is definitely totally fine. Blue could consider the spot because it indirectly defends their city up top. But they go for the stacking approach. Is fine as well, of course. Yellow threatens the square, tries to block it with any Dorito. Blue with the next field attack and creating a sinister hamster here, which is definitely a nice approach. Adding a bit of volatility here doesn't hurt. Notably, this is their last meeple. So yellow won't connect here now. They don't like to give blue a meeple back. They'd rather go for the kill, or at least pressure up top with 2 daggers of the right-handed variety already gone. Any road over here like this, or a curve pointing upwards, would limit blue city to the one and only remaining dagger. And else there is not much for them which would elicit hope here. They need a crossroad here, but that would connect yellow to the field. So most likely they hope to draw a Dorito to at least get a meeple back. Yeah, now they have to use the crossroad over here, of course. The meeple is way more precious than having to fight for the field later. Blue's connection over here with this cow is iffy at best. Threatens the square, which they need to liberate their monastery. And again, it's the same problem with their city up top. There's only 1 right-handed dagger left. So any city plus road piece would endanger the life of their monastery. And with this one here being dead, so this monastery being dead, the other one relying on the road monastery, bignacho610, meeple majority is almost guaranteed here in this game, and therefore with a huge field like this, which is let's say 18 points once blue connects with their farmer on the left side. This doesn't look good for blue here. More or less, well, they need to draw quite likely both road monasteries. Oh, yellow didn't go for the restriction here with the rose. I'm not sure if I would have done the same here. They prefer to take the 3 points up top instead of going here because they didn't want to give blue a second meeple in hand, which of course is fine, but still, I guess they are hoping to draw maybe a straight or curve to threaten this square from the left side. Let's see if they use the Dorito like I sketched earlier. I think at plus 18 they could, but they go for the insurance farmer, which is nice as well, because once blue closes their city, yellow's farmer would connect to the main field and push yellow in a super majority here with a 3-to-1 farmer score for now. Again, the second farmer by blue is on the left side already waiting in the wings there. Blue takes away this field attack option, which yellow could have used. For example, like this. So finally, yellow gets a road piece they could use on the right side, where they created the platform to pressure blue's monastery there, but blue got a nice rotary to defend. And now the question for yellow is, do you just defend so that blue can't overtake this city here? Or do you attack the field again just to be on the safe side? Or do something else, of course. Putting pressure on this city could be considered. Only one rose left, but 3 starting tiles. And in the end, this farmer at the top could score 6 or 9 points on his own if this square would be killed here. So all valid options. Another one would be this, and taking the insurance road, but I think with only 2 in hand, that's not very strong. Now he takes the field, which works as well. Also has a chance to crawl all around here into the main field if this square doesn't work out. But I guess at least it forces blue to use the dagger somewhere else if they want to have any chance in this game to win. And therefore, this monastery should be considered dead. Yellow, of course, would use the dagger here just to score the 4 points and connect their farmer to the main field. So, pretty rough game for blue here. Now that they can't even attack this city because there's always the chance for yellow to counter from the other side or block, depending on pieces drawn and used to attack the city. It doesn't look great at all. Creating more volatility might be what blue needs. For example, like this here, hoping to draw the Dorito later on to run away with this city, even though it's a Dorito without a shield, as both shielded road Doritos are gone. Also, this Dorito would take away the city cap from yellow's field, which again might be split off from the main field. Yeah, creating this city might work as well. but the problem is then you'd either need to take this before the dagger drops, or you need to use the dagger here, connect yellow's farmer to the field, and in this instance then take the city immediately. And once you build it up, it's either, well, it's a 50-50 anyway, more or less. So if you go here, then yellow would have a tough decision whether to take this with the next Dorito or splitter for that matter. Of course, they would with the dagger, and therefore blue takes this now, just hopes to draw the Dorito and the remaining dagger soon. Again, they only have now this here, this meeple, this one, and maybe this one as well, that are alive. This is fine, more or less. It secures still having two options here to close this city with the remaining Dorito or splitter. But yellow got the road monastery, gets a starting tile as well. So rough for blue here. No meeples in hand. Now they at least get the one back, but at the price of connecting yellow's farmer to the main field, and yellow just draws the perfect piece here. Gets this road monastery, doesn't take it for 7, but scores the 5-point road, liberates their other monastery, and I think what Lord Struper is saying here doesn't need any translation at all. He's right, it's a massacre. Yeah, grasping at straws here, trying to hop on the field. It's 42 points behind, so he wouldn't need to take over the field, which is worth 24 points. So if he takes this over, he would score 48. Yeah, now he gets the dagger, and if he goes here, well, then the field is lost. He just doesn't have the meeples necessary to win the field, at least for now. 2 dead meeples, 3 on the field. He could liberate this one and this one, although there's only the one splitter remaining. But it's highly unlikely that this works out. So yellow doesn't get anything to kill off this square or to connect. So blue can't close their city on their own. Which is at least good news for blue here. But what else is there? Nah, that's imprecise. In this case, you have to put the cow here. I mean, come on, don't skimp. Give your opponent the 1 point, but have secured your to secure your chances here, because this way there are still the quadruple city that would immediately kill your city, and the horse this way or the other way around, it doesn't matter. So for the price of 1 point, you get a 50-50 shot at closing your city. With this move, it's a 33% chance at best. It's not even 33%. It's less, 25. So basically 1 point saved, but for what? Yeah. I mean, it's tough if you're down big like Lord Trooper is here, but still you have to play precise to have any chance at all, especially in a lopsided game like this here. Or for now, lopsided game. 5 moves left for Lord Trooper, so getting this one back, sure, would be nice, but adding 2 farmers to the main field won't work with 4 moves on this board and with the road monasteries gone. So it'll be yellow's win, more or less as expected. There's at least 1 farmer, but the city is dead now. Yeah, well, you forced this onto yourself, Mr. Trooper. Could have done better. Ideally, he would have gotten this vanilla, which yellow drew, to go here and attack the field while protecting their city as well. But it's Carcassonne, not a wishing game. I'm not sure what Nacho is thinking about. There really isn't any chance for blue to still win this one, even if they would take over the field now, which would be 48 points, but the difference is at 57. Bignacho, as of now, would double LT's score here, which is unfathomable. I think I haven't seen such a score in a long while. On this level, at least. But they take their time. I mean, why not? They have the 15 minutes. Interesting that these two did go for the tournament option, and it explains also why the start of the game was a bit delayed. So he counted and then he connects because blue had a guaranteed connection with the tiles remaining being free to connect this farmer. But in the end, it doesn't matter at all. So Nacho takes the first game. Let's check if Ernie and Blust are done with their first as well. No, they are not. And let's take a quick peek. What's happening over there? Oh, looks like a closer one, although Ernie is in the lead here and has a meeple more in hand, but there's still the road monastery, which would fit up top to take away these 6 points from yellow. So it would be a 14-point swing in Bluster's favor. So it's still open. Let's see if LT breaks the streak of Bignacho. Looks like he's writing something about Kithara, I guess. Even though the spelling was a bit odd. It says, I'll leave it to Kithara. That's because the winner of this game doesn't meet Kisara, though. I'm not sure. I don't know. Again, a bigger field in the early stages here. Someone will take it right now, not closing the city, but instead quite likely going over here, taking away a few options from Blue's monastery. Might be what yellow is thinking about. Of course, they could have also consider this here, but in a case where there are still two starting tiles out there, wasting this like that definitely wouldn't be ideal. Yeah, they will play against Ernie Bluster. Says, I'm sorry, my Cyrillic isn't great in the chat. And Kisara, I think I know what Lord Trooper is talking about. I guess he considers Kisara to be the favorite in the bottom half of this bracket, and Bignacho and Lord Trooper are in the upper half of the bracket. So Lord Trooper, of course, hopes, if he loses, that his compatriot will win all further matches and reach the final, then quite likely against Kisara, for example. Might be the thought process of Lord Trooper. So it's 71st in the chat. Well, the one ousted by Kisara. So, well, what a coincidence here. Do you split or don't you? Well, the problem with taking this cap is you'd give this attacking option. Two big city pieces gone, so still enough out there that it's more or less very likely to happen. So splitting off, taking the field is fine. The downside is that a field like this could be severely restricted with only a few moves. This here works, of course, as well. And on the other side of this, these two cities, there is another 9-point field. So let's see. Nacho going over here, maybe even meepling this one, because there's bound to be a crossroad there sometimes, and taking away a monastery square ain't bad, plus adding an option to pressure Blue City. Yeah, that's the direct approach, let's call it. Hey, Vika. Let's see. Goes for the obstruction now, but I would guess not, because in this case, adding a straight over here would actually improve the quality of this monastery spot. Therefore, he tries to attack the city on the left side, which is definitely a fine option. Oh, I should remove the cow up top. It's not there, as should be evident by the magenta border. This here looks nice. How about that one? Crossroad wouldn't work anymore. You could use a crossroad here to kill this square. You could add pressure from the bottom. One dagger is already gone. Yeah, that works as well. Wow. This in blue's hands would have been devastating. So nice draw by yellow here, getting at least one monastery. And now this route for yellow's first farmer seems to be open. So in a case of a field fight for this one, which should happen sometime as it's already at 15 points, they could use this backdoor option, or on the left side for that matter, to connect their second farmer there. Further pressuring this square here, hoping to kill it, of course. Blue defense gets second monastery in yellow's hand, also improving this connection here, or this connection option. That's a bit annoying due to blocking possibilities into a starting tile, but with all the problems this blue city already has, does it really matter? More or less the best blue could have hoped for. I mean, actually, they should have considered this move here. Then they would have been only 2 steps away from closing the city. And the only blocking piece would have been the right-handed dagger over here. Sure, there would have been still attacking options for yellow, but any attack here would have endangered their city. So might have been an option, but pipe dream, it didn't happen. Now they need the remaining horse, and still more pieces to go there. But they don't stop. So either yellow will take this side of this city / ruin, or they'll block now. Might go over here as well, but I think taking care of this city should be the way to go. Yeah. Blue just adds to their, I guess, ruin now. Even if it's technically not a ruin, it could still be completed. In the meantime, blue did add the first farmer with hopes of connecting to yellow's 18-point field now, and therefore yellow added a farmer on the right side as well, which should connect to the main field in almost no time. This is a double-edged sword here. It takes away this route for yellow's third farmer, but that one still has this here. So in that case, maybe like this, just to keep this one alive, this connection option. But the problem with this third one is if this one connects to a field which would already be in yellow's possession, they'd lose the 6 points from this field. And right now, should draw bigger circles or ellipses. Right now, it's only +3 for yellow. I'm both hoping to draw the remaining monastery, which would be nice, of course. So instead, yellow kills the city once and for all. Not sure that was necessary. I mean, better safe than sorry, let's say, because you could run into something like this. And then all blue would need to run away with this game would be a starting tile and the remaining horse. So I guess with the better piece than this rather lousy road Dorito, yellow would have done something else. But here goes. Blue blocks at least this option. Of course, there's always the way to go around this city part, but it's way more complicated than just adding road pieces there. And again, yellow could have used the Dorito to protect this route, and it would have been unblockable because there are still two left-handed daggers out there. So the monastery goes to yellow, and they actually don't use it over here, because if they would have used it there, they would have given blue a third meeple back, whereas they would have meepled the monastery, so traded the already existing monastery meeple into the new monastery, and would have stayed at one meeple in their possession. And with this field here, they didn't want to do this, of course. Adding another farmer up top, which quite likely should be able to connect to the main field. Blue, of course, connects. They are down 15 points, so they only need to tie the field to at least a surge ahead in this game, and this here would be a prime option. This curve kills this square, but there are still two vanillas, and one is in yellow's hands, or got into yellow's hands. Also, it adds an easy route for yellow's, 4 farmer in this game to enter the main field. So it more and more looks like blue will have to find a way to win this one fieldless. And it's not looking great here to accomplish that. So this monastery is dead. There's only one piece to still go here. Monasteries are already gone. 5 over here, 1 there. And there's only 1 vanilla left. So blue could use the vanilla here. But that would only score them 2 points and also add a city cap to yellow's field, which they rather not do. And going over here would liberate 1 meeple each. Doesn't help them as well. So what else is there? Well, there are a few quick point tiles left, road ends. Most notably, there is a 4-point road on the left side as well. They could still attack here, for example, with this dagger, but it doesn't work. This farmer here for sure will connect sometime. And then blue would have the need to add, as of now, 3 more farmers. And how? 1 meeple is dead over here. These 2 are dead. This one could be liberated. Okay, this one for sure. But liberating 2 meeples, plus using the one already in your hand, just to tie the field. And then, what's the field worth right now? 24, right? Yeah, 24. Okay, 15 points for yellow to cover if blue were to tie the field. Might be a tad steep, although 17 tiles remaining, so 9 moves for yellow might still be possible. It's only 2 points per move, so it would depend heavily on the distribution of quick scoring tiles like road ends and the remaining city caps. So I guess the only option for blue is to go for fieldless here. So they connect this farmer, take away 3 points from yellow, also leave an open city cap there, hopefully for them to take. This looks curious, but it's actually exactly what they should do here. Hope to draw one of the crossroads, although there is the downside of these curves and even a dagger remaining that would have killed the road via this square. But at this point, you have to risk quite a lot here. But tough. Just when they had one of the caps in hand, yellow got one as well, just one move earlier. So an 8-point swing in this case. Yeah, maybe set up the same thing again. Maybe even drop a farmer right now. Although this 8-point road in the making might be snatched up by yellow if they get a chance. Maybe over here. Nah, I don't like it. Sure, there's still a 50-50 chance to draw the remaining extender, but so this is half a point, because in roughly 50% of the cases you get the extender and then the point of this cap. I think that's not a move that improves your winning probabilities by a significant number, for lack of a better term. And at -12, you have to risk more. You have to play better than this, actually. Yellow takes away one of the field attacking options. And actually, that is a good move here, because this wasn't just an option to connect one, but 2 farmers. And that I didn't see earlier. But with the lack of meeples, going for the field wasn't in the cards for blue anyway. So now they are down -7. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And looky here, there was the cap for them, so they could have taken the here or there. Although the field ends city option, although yellow got the cow in between, so might have just killed the quick city closure, with the downside of still 2 caps out there. So blue could have gotten a bigger city out of it, but all hypotheticals. And at +7, with 3 moves to go for yellow and 4 for blue, there are no silver bullets left in the deck. Yellow takes 4 points, so it's +11. Let's consider 3 points, maybe 6 points at the bottom. 2 now, that's 8. Just doesn't work, because yellow is at least not unlikely to get another road piece with 2 remaining in the deck. And it would be the last drip here if they draw the remaining crossroad on their next turn as well, of course. And then with over 50 minutes to go until the next match starts, we might just hop over to the other match and look what's happening there. Perfect draw by yellow. Unbelievable. But anyway, it didn't matter. Also a misstep, actually, if you go there, then do it the other way around, so at least you could take a 2-point city. Yeah, scores 2 points, which would have worked anywhere else. There were 3 over there, but or up top, but it doesn't matter. The game was done, and yeah, that's the problem with big ruins. You invest quite a lot of pieces, and in the end, they only score their regular value, and all these city pieces ain't getting doubled, and that's just the difference in this game. So for yellow, nice to take care of the field rather early. I'm not a big fan of huge fields like that. I would have rather gone for a split somewhere, well, on color, somewhere over here. Divide and conquer, as the Romans say, is more my style. So let's check what's happening at Ernie and Bluster. Yeah, Ernie has won the first game and the second is at 60%, so a rather leisurely pace. They exchange pleasantries. Let's see what this translates to. Yeah, okay. Just talking a bit about the game and that it actually didn't matter which pieces they would have gotten in the end because the game was done for one bignacho. So Bluster is at +16. And there are still curves out there for a 5-point move plus a meeple back. Also easy to liberate the second monastery. This square is alive as well, so by extension this blue city is still alive. The only feature that's really dead is blue city up top. Yellow takes a 6-point field, which, if the starting tile goes there, would connect to the other 9-point, maybe 12-point field if the city on the right gets closed. Not a fan of this move, actually. I mean, you have to think in terms of winning probabilities or winning chances, and not attacking this city, which was tied, even with a rather clunky tile like the Dorito in this case. Not sure if that actually helps. So now Bluster got to attack the city and even protected his attack. Just needs one of the 2 remaining Doritos. So luckily for yellow, they get at least one of them. And now the game is pretty close. Let's see if they do something about this situation, because losing this city to the last remaining Dorito, which is shieldless, both shielded ones are up top. So this would be a swing off. Right now it's 7 points for yellow, and if the city closes, it would be 18 points. Oh, it's quite a lot. So at least the connection already swings it. Did I finish my sentence? I don't think so. So 18 points minus the 7, 8 blue already got, so 10 plus the 7, yellow would lose a 17-point swing if I didn't miscalculate somewhere. But even the connection now, which is limited to a 50-50, there's only one dagger left, was enough to push blue into the lead here. And luckily for yellow, they got another of these precious curves, which blue still needs to liberate the monastery and score 4 road points. So with 12 tiles to go and at least a temporary meeple majority, there are still good options for yellow. Taking this field here for blue might be a double-edged sword, because once they connect, there would still be the starting tile connection for yellow to unify their field on the left side with their field on the right side. So blue goes for hard points, takes the 5 road points here. Another good news for yellow, getting the last remaining curve. So blue's monastery in the middle is dead now, and they didn't score 4 road points, of course. Yellow goes for the kill. Blue, I think, has to defend. If they defend, there would only be one option to still kill the city, and that would be the left-handed dagger. Plus, they would have one further defense that would secure them the 50-50 if the right-handed dagger isn't gone until the crossroad hits. The problem, though, is here gives away 2 open cities, and that to your opponent, which has 3 meeples in hand. But I think with the prospect of drawing this dagger and then, well, upping your winning probability to, I don't know, high 90s, it still is a good move, or was a good move. Even if it's totally annoying in this position, because the biggest downside would be yellow drawing further caps, and then in the end even this Dorito to take a 9-point field, which could allow them to still win this if they dodge the dagger. Looks like they are taking the field now. Yeah, they do. Blue killed the city, which is fine, because of course they would use the dagger there and not like this. And blue still gets the dagger, takes the road, of course, scoring 4 points. Doesn't even try to take the field, which actually wouldn't have any chance to connect. So 4 points is definitely the better way. And this game will go to blue. So they'll need a decider, and I'll stick around for a few more minutes. And then I'll be hopping over to idinidad versus mtu. Yeah, that rubber moves in the end here, both scoring cities, which of course changed the score a bit in yellow's favor, but doesn't matter. Oh, and yeah, Ernie's right. He even lost on time. I mean, who cares? Exactly. A loss anyway, no matter what. Okay. I don't think it's worth it to take a closer look at this move here now, but this would be my starting point for a deeper analysis of this game, because I still think that attacking this city more or less might have been a must, even if it's just to prevent a scenario like we just witnessed. So let's see. I guess they took roughly 27, 28 minutes or so per game. And therefore, covering these two until the end would take away more or less the first game of idinidad versus mtu. So I won't do that, especially not because Alexei should be covering this one at least in a few seconds. Looks like he's not right now. Might need a short break, or hasn't refreshed, or my script hasn't picked up on him being a viewer of this game already. For now, it looks better for yellow, but this could turn with a few pieces. Come on, I can draw better than that. Yeah, but Bluster is forced to kill his attacking option. And now Ernie, I mean, do you even go here? Then there would be the big elephant in the room, namely the splitter, but I think the chances of maybe killing this square and running away with the winning mini battle might be interesting, but that is definitely better, creating a nice monastery spot here. And also having a more or less secure city to further expand with anything but caps, I guess. Cap I'd rather use to open another city somewhere here on the left side, because this doesn't give away an easy loop, which would be the case over here, and not on the right side, of course, because of these blocking options from the top. Oh, looks sound to me. What Ernie is playing here needs a crossroad, of course, to liberate the monastery and get this road meeple back as well. And if this is delayed quite a long while, the game could become problematic for them. But if it hits rather early, then I would consider them to be the favorite to win this game, at least at this point in time and with the present situation, which of course could change in the blink of an eye. And the quadruple city hits. So looks like a mini battle here, ruin versus monastery. Will be interesting to look later how this one turned out. So let's quickly refresh. Let's see if idinidad and mtu have already started. They haven't, then let me check off screen if they have. By the way, if you'd like me to have the game of Ernie and Bluster open in a secondary and way smaller window, just say so in the chat. But I think most of you, or at least most of the viewers who actively participated in the polls on the community pages of my YouTube channel, weren't in favor of doing shenanigans like that. So for now, I would refrain from adding more windows if it's not explicitly necessary, and that's not the case when someone else is covering a game. So we leave these two edit and hop over to the game of Thais idinidad versus mtu from Poland. Oh, and I promised a story about mtu. I think I'll go into details of the pardon my French, fucked up Polish qualification situation later when this match is done, I think. Or when there's nothing else to talk about. Maybe in between games. We'll see. Oh, call it a cliffhanger, if you will. Yeah. Nice start for idinidad. Getting 2 monasteries in compensation of 1 city for your opponent, which I guess most of you would take as well. It's mtu, so let's do this here. I would expect this one. Creating pressure and pressure and pressure. No, only double pressure. Although 3 meeples, triple pressure, whatever. Come on, go for it. Yay. Here we are. Didn't work, at least in terms of the right monastery. And yellow doesn't place a meeple. Bit skimping here, my friend. Because I mean, I get why yellow didn't place a meeple, because with the meeple over here and then the prospect of this here getting threatened or killed and losing 3 meeples in the early game would have been devastating, but still leaving this 3-point here, this 3-point road out there for blue to grab and limiting your city as well, which would happen in, I think, 2/3 of the cases, because I would expect mtu to go here with more or less any road piece. So I'm not sure not taking the road was a wise choice by yellow, even though downside was significant. Over here, maybe? Meepling the bottom one? Yeah. Call me MTU Whisperer. So, this looks problematic for yellow, and it gets worse from there. I don't think you need to meeple the cap, but let's see. This is dead. This is dead. This is dead. And MTU is hunting for more scalps. Trying to go for this one here, but that at least doesn't work. Perfect piece for yellow, not just closing the city, but adding extra points. MTU quite likely will take the farm now. With tempo by either, not either. I think he might consider the loop actually. But with this farm, I think it's worth it to go there first. Even if you don't get the loop, or would have a way more complicated loop. Yeah, I use the safe option as well, yeah. Both splitters are gone, and I would have liked for blue to get a horse like this to effectively kill the city. Yellow prevents that, but with the quadruple city in there, we'll see. This could be one of the features that decides this game. Score is very close, almost tied right now. Always talking about the virtual one, of course. So how about an extender somewhere down the line like this here? But the problem is this side of the city. But it could turn the game in yellow's favor. And MTU goes for the immediate block just to prevent any attack on the city except for a dagger from the right side, which, if connected like this, for example, would then lead to possible blocks to the one and only remaining dagger, because one left-handed dagger is over here and another one is right there. So I don't expect anyone to attack this city at the bottom for now, at least. Not with a more or less tight score, and when there are other avenues to still win this game. Although with the field in blue's possession and these two dead meeples, the goal for blue here is plain and simple. Just add cities to your field and ride this field to the win. Whereas yellow's options right now looking more like going for a fieldless win, and therefore even this here, but not with the cap. Not with the cap. If it were a straight, maybe, just to limit options for blue to add further city parts there, and maybe to threaten this square. Yeah, so just creating a city somewhere safe, or safer than over here. Is definitely a better option. The problem for yellow is taking or closing this city is a net -2 move, so this won't get closed. This meeple will be stuck there quite likely for a long time, unless they decide they need it. Because what it at least accomplishes is binding these two blue meeples for the cost of quite likely rather lopsided and lost mini battle, because these two monasteries will get more points, like this, for example. Or is he actually considering to take the city on the right side? I wouldn't, I think. Just taking this one there. But I'm not sure the position is the better one. This would suggest that he's at least hoping. No, he doesn't. Then I don't like this one. Then I would have gone over here. If you are not going to threaten this square, which doesn't make sense for blue anyway, then I think using this Dorito over here would have been my move instead. Will be interesting to see what mtu has to say in his defense later. He's not sure whether he should take the cap now. I would. Sure. The problem is it would risk these two monasteries, but actually it wouldn't. If you go here and yellow does anything over here, like trying to block, then you at least get to immediately defend. In many cases, that is. So why not? Problem for blue was this square. So they needed to defend there. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. And yellow got out of the way. This here to take away the cap. I mean, no splitters out there, but still 5. Oh, what are they called? Doritos? Sure, it's way more likely to close this city like that because there are way more caps out there, but you leave this cap there. And again, the trouble for blue is if they take this cap, they give back an immediate field attack upon finalization of the city, and yellow doesn't take it. Whoa, yeah, and it's totally understandable actually. Just consider them to use a farmer over here. Sorry, killed the farmer. Here it is again. And then blue drawing any Dorito. This would have been an instant kill over here because this was the last starting tile. And crawling around here might work, but is also easily thwarted, for example, with a horse. So not adding the farmer now seems to be fine. Yellow going for the pressure and kill here, but it doesn't work. Blue gets to defend and quite likely should defend, creating this sinister hamster here. The annoying thing about this is, of course, they'd rather use this Dorito there, but what does this Dorito accomplish if this square gets blocked? Well, nothing much, just the 1 point here. Therefore, the defense is the correct move in this case. Now they quite likely will close their city, but they are contemplating whether to add a farmer there or not. If not, then you risk a takeover by yellow like this, which would be pretty devastating in this game. And that's exactly why blue rightfully decides to add a farmer there. And therefore, yellow takes the other route into blue's field. That's blue's field. And if blue would use this, then this square on the left side would be susceptible to an obstruction into, I don't know, crossroad or curved plus city part, and therefore blue uses the curve here and not there, because there are still 4 curves out there. So it's roughly, what are we having, 24 pieces? Well, and should be 95% chance to still get at least 1 curve and take over the field again, or no, just up the farmer score on the field to a 2-1 in your favor, because yellow's field, yellow's farmer isn't connected to the main field as of now. So normally, with the field in your possession, you would love this tile. You would add it somewhere, just the 2 caps, the prospect of closing these 2 cities for 7 points each, so 4 plus 3 for your field each, is just great. But in this case, where there is really no open space, it's rather tricky. The only option would be this one, and this immediately gives another field attacking option, also endangers your road, and therefore it's definitely a no-go. Even mtu won't do that. So the question is, what else do you do with this one? I don't see any option to kill both caps. So putting it somewhere with 1 open cap is the way to go. He didn't use these Doritos, of course, because then he would give away 2 open cities, and didn't use that one because this would create more volatility than he wants in this game, giving your opponent with 3 meeples in hand a chance to close a 10-12 point city maybe isn't the way to go here. So blue gets one of the 2 remaining road monasteries, scores 10 points on the virtual scoreboard, and now hopes to draw a curve ASAP. This I don't like. I think going over here, protecting your field, even if your road might get blocked, or if this field would have gotten attacked from the right side, would have been a must. I would consider this one to be a mistake, because in addition to the field defense, this here would also give you options like this, although then you would give away another field attack anyway. So yeah, looks to me like blue was hoping to outdraw their opponent, so getting a crossroad, or more preferable, one of the 2 remaining horses to wall off the field and close the road at the same time. But in this case, when you still have the curves in the deck to get the field back, I would have rather protected this one. But worst case, because worst case for blue, of course, is missing all 4 curves. Then yellow would take over the field, and blue's farmer on the left side would be stranded with 3 points, and they just lose the game. Meanwhile, this vanilla by yellow could have been executed with a farmer as well, because there's still 1 vanilla left. There's a curve for blue, which gives them a rather solid lead, and I think that's a miss for yellow as well. Sure, there is still 1 crossroad out there, which would have blocked this option, but there are still 2 curves and 1 dagger to connect there. So either attacking the road, or I think the field would have worked as well. But the immediate connection, of course, has upsides as well. It creates another attacking option. And by the way, this attacking option is still present. Preferably, you'd get the crossroad to execute it, because then there is no piece to block this immediately. You could still connect. Yeah, the question for blue now is, do you invest your last meeple for this field attack? You are ahead 8 points. So if successful and yellow ties the field somewhere, over here, for example, then it will be interesting to see whether they would be able to outscore the spread of 8, rather 9 points, because they are starting player with only 1 meeple and 5 moves, 6 moves to go. Or do you just kill this option? That would be the other approach. But killing this option then leaves this 6-point ruin behind. Oh, he takes the ruin. Well, that's a nice idea. Taking a road, creating options to attack the field. Why not? There are are there pieces to not defend is the question. Not many. I think the only permutation that would count as defense or not defense would be this one, and even in that case, yellow could still attack. So doesn't really work that great, but what else is there? I mean, if you can't attack, you have to try to outscore. Scoring 15 points plus everything that the blues ruin might gain could be interesting as well. Could have taken the city, actually. Sure, only 1 shot at closing it with the Dorito, or of course horse plus city cap. But the upside of getting the reto, creating another attacking spot would be nice, although was very likely that blue would block this immediately. So taking the 4 points might work. Now we'll see the ninja attack. Added upside 5 points. So blue has to defend, has to try to kill this square, or go for an attack somewhere else. The possible attacks would be susceptible to a block. There's still this 50-50 here. If everything else doesn't work. No help for idinidad from the deck. Meanwhile, what this straight accomplishes is killing another ninja attack on the left side, although it's definitely a worse one than at the top. Yeah, blue gets 3 points, and way more crucial than getting 3 points is getting one of the curvies which were still left in the deck, and seeing that can't draw a circle if my life depends on it. Yellow gets a straight. It's a 50-50 shot for them. Now it's less than 50-50 actually, because blue is the next one to draw, and there's still one piece to block this. So should be 1 in 3 chance. So let me quickly check. So we have 6 tiles remaining. Yeah, 30% roughly, but it works out. And MTU lost on time anyway. Yeah, running up the score doesn't matter. So I think this straight here up top, then he could have killed this with the curve. Permutation worked perfectly for them, and it might just have been necessary. Let me just jot this down and we'll take a look later. Both starting with straights. Quite annoying. First useful piece goes to MTU. Second normally useful piece with the extender goes to idinidad. Yeah, so far so normal. Tagging the city, of course. Yeah. Just a second, please. I'll be right back. Looks like I haven't missed anything. Yeah, perfect position for the splitter as well. taking away this option to create an attack against the hopefully yellow city. At least hopefully for yellow, that is, of course. Blue is gunning to kill both these squares and then or taking over, tying the city, which works as well. He goes for the rather ruin creation, maybe killing this square or at least limiting this one to the quadruple city, and then winning a mini battle with a huge blue ruin versus a measly 2-point yellow ruin on the right side. And both would have invested 2 meeples, so good idea actually. Yeah, here comes the block. And idinidad either has to go here now, which would then pit this part of the city against his 2 points. Or maybe do even something like that, but nah, I think this is the way to go. Yeah, and now MTU doesn't care anymore about this one here. Just goes for straight up 4 points on the right side. Closing the gap on the virtual scoreboard to just 1 point now. Curious. Sorry, 71st. I didn't notice your comment about MTU losing on time. I guess I noticed, but just too late. My chat tool worked in the beginning, but doesn't now. Not sure what's happening there. We'll see. So if anyone writes something in the chat and I don't react, just try again. Maybe I notice then. And so MTU limited the city to the quadruple tile. Yellow restricted blue's small city on the right side, then took the road, while blue just closed their city and opened a new one, which now is attacked by yellow, leaving an interesting field behind, which yellow quite likely will take when they close the road. It's just too juicy. 2 cities already there, one almost completed, and then all these open green squares around it. MTU doesn't get anything to take this, and the problem with adding pieces on this side of the city is, of course, the quadruple city still being out there. All these pieces you do invest here could in the end up being shared, and that definitely wouldn't be in your or in blue's interest in this case. Okay. Let's do it again. Something isn't working. Let me figure this out. Okay. Okay, so now it should be working. Let's try again. Yeah. So this is what 71st wrote. He had 7 seconds for 4 or 5 moves. Really? I mean, he ended up at -3, 4, 5? Wow. And I didn't notice at all. So weird. It's just my what's it called? Let me look it up. My field of view, field of vision, yeah, is more or less like this here. So I don't see the part on the left. I really don't see this unless I look there, and I have to move my head. My eyes would be sufficient to see the scores. So I didn't really notice the time being that down for mtu. Yeah, back to the game. Quadruple city hit. All these 1, 2, 3 pieces that mtu invested didn't do anything for them. At least they got a 4-point road at the bottom, and now hope to draw an extender, but all extenders are gone. There is only one splitter left, and there should still be a lot of cows in there. I only see the one. Yeah, 3 cows left. Meanwhile, yellow threatens to take over a bigger city here. Still 2. Well, it's a 2. 2 horses left to close or connect over here. And then, of course, they'd hope to catch a cap to prevent blue from connecting there. Also a nice move by yellow here. For one, they took away an option for blue to attack the field, and maybe even what's the word? I can't even remember simple words. Like vital or important. Maybe even more important is that this also opens up this connection here. Which of course would unite this 6, possibly 9-point field with their field, wrong color, with their field up top. Annoying for blue. Yellow, of course, goes for this threat here, but did they need to use the cow which blue needs? Might be a question blue might be asking themselves now. Still 2 cows there. I think the only good news in this case is that yellow is rather unlikely to take the city with only 2 meeples in hand and the score being almost tied. Okay, blue takes the second vanilla in a row to at least limit the square of yellow's city. But there are still 2 vanillas and 1 vertical splitter remaining. Who closes their city? This, by the way, gives back an option to attack the field, and a nice option at that, because they could also extend this to the right side. So even if yellow doesn't get anything, blue would secure themselves, or could secure themselves, a 6-point field, maybe with a 4-point road as well. So it ain't looking bad here for either party. Both have their chances. Not just 3 points, but also preventing the easy connection. There is still 1 road monastery. Yeah, this works to connect here. But yellow opts to take this 9-point field. Now blue goes for the kill, isn't successful. Yellow defends at the cost of using the juicy road monastery there, which they else could have invested in a 3-point road, for example. Blue has to decide whether they should take a 4-point road or close the city. And I think with these many caps left, why not take the road? Because they prefer to attack now, which looks wise after this draw here. Again, blue goes for immediate points and not for the field connection, which they could execute with 4 of the remaining pieces as well. And a block of this square doesn't really help, because then there would be the other option. So to me, this looks like exactly yellow has to do what they just did. They have to dodge the 2 cows, because a cow here for blue would be a 9-point swing plus getting a meeple. Of course they would take this one, and after this move they would have 1 more meeple in hand than before executing it. Now they have to connect. Yellow takes an 8-point city plus 3 points for their field and the lead. And this is completely annoying for blue. It's the wrong order. They needed this right now. They may have to attack this field now, but it's just annoying. It's not what you want. It's just not what you want, but you might have to. And if you don't, killing this, or rather restricting this to 1 piece, is definitely the way to go. And by the way, blue, of course, needs to dodge or draw, rather, the cow as well, the horse as well, because the horse completes the city for yellow and gives back a 6-point field to yellow. Maybe a 9-point field to blue afterwards, but we'll see. At least good news for blue here. Yellow gets the monastery, which is not that useful. I mean, 7 points, but then you won't have the farmer to go over here. You won't have a meeple to close this city, which is still possible. So at least both get shoddy tiles, but they go for the 7 points, and here is the possibly saving grace for blue if they hit the horse on their last turn. If not, then it will be yellow's game, I think. Let's see. So yellow hasn't had a meeple in hand. Yeah, sure. And they won't take the field here. And blue would take the 9-point field in the end with the dagger. So now it's 5-1. mtu gets it. Takes. What should he do? Take a 6-point field. It actually doesn't matter, this one or this one, because yellow will then add the dagger over here to give 3 more points to their farm, which isn't enough. Yeah, I think that should be the solution. Taking away these 4 points doesn't matter. So yeah, it's field for blue, and then another city for yellow's farm, unless I've missed something else. Don't think so. Yeah, field for blue. +8. Another 3 points for yellow, and this will be a 5-point win for blue then. So in the end, a perfect draw for them. Getting first the cow and then the horse, which was exactly what they needed. Although they might have even won if the last 2 pieces would have been reversed. This here was 4 points for yellow. So +6, +8. Yeah. I think, if I'm not miscalculating, blue would have even won if the last 2 pieces were reversed, because then they would have taken a 9-point field. Although that's just a +3. I might take a closer look later. If anyone is interested, just let me know in the chat. It's not really that relevant. Here we go. A decider in this Q3 round 1 match between idinidad and mtu. mtu limits this road on the left side, which in the beginning, when there are almost all tiles still out there, is definitely okay, because then you could threaten to run away with a diamond-shaped city, and only adding 1 point to your opponent's score doesn't matter at all. Yellow with a rather risky early farmer. Something like that is not unfathomable. So let's see. This case, it works out for them, drawing the splitter to open up the field, also pressuring blue city on the left, but also giving away the blocking option against their road as well, with one of the daggers already gone. So in this early game here, it looks like it should be in blue's favor in the long run, because I'd rather have this city than this road here. Yeah, mtu gets to liberate the city at the right time, else this here would have been incoming quite likely. And also, this is another platform to harass yellow small city up top, which is already limited to the same configuration as their city at the bottom. And also the road is more or less the same as well. This could or should become a big ruin for blue once they get their hands on one of the horses. Yellow doesn't do anything about this situation. I'm sorry, but that's a mistake. No, I'm not sorry. Come on, there are still 6 tiles over here that you could use there when you limit yourselves to city cap plus straightish piece. And this way you give your opponent, you give your opponent the chance to limit this one to 2 remaining daggers, and the dagger you already need here. So diversifying the blocking on the options to still get meeples back definitely would have been way more important than I don't know what this should accomplish. So yeah, I think the first really big mistake by yellow here. At least oversight. It's a mistake. So blue quite likely with the meeple majority in the long run, going for the kill here, but taking the field, because in some cases yellow might defend like this, and then at least you would have the root over there, or completely lucky, of course, might be drawing one of the daggers immediately, and then at least blue would tie the field. And even this one could work out with exactly the piece they got. And I think they should go here. If it's only just to kill this square, that's yeah, it's okay. Sure, it works, but I think the upside of killing this square was way bigger than the upside of having your monasteries next to each other. And 5 tiles needed, and the prospect of maybe a block from the left side when yellow would close their city, I don't like it. I think that's missed value here. Sophie's choice for yellow. Do you liberate your city or do you liberate your road? And they go for the road, as the road could have been blocked, or rather killed completely, because the quadruple crossroad is gone, but the city would have at least a fighting chance no matter what blue would place on the left side of it. Whoa. This could work into a kill by extension, but it could also lead to a nice city for yellow. But it's definitely more likely that this square will be killed sometime. Or at least limited to a cow. Oh, but we'll see. Yellow takes 2 points, puts not really pressuring blue's monastery, but at least taking away this road. And for now, so killing this square is more difficult for blue than with both these options available. Come on, I mean, this is so juicy. Maybe even like this, so you have options to kill this. This is so juicy. Yeah, and I found it. Nice one. Really nice one. Indirect defense, maybe. So yellow wouldn't need to use the top spot, but which is problematic because then you took away this indirect defense square if you can't directly defend. So not dropping anything over here should be the right move in this case. So if you can't do something good for you, then do something that annoys or hurts your opponent. Maybe this one, although that's isn't good, because in this case there are still too many straights out there which would easily defend here. So blue goes for this city, which is fine as well. Yellow goes for the attack here, threatens this square. And there's actually no, not with 1 and 3 crossroads out there. No. I think the correct move would have been this one, even if this limits you to a 50-50. Sure, but the chance of you drawing one of 2 pieces versus, what was it, 4 pieces for yellow to kill this are worse than 50%. And you are ahead. You have more meeples in hand. Here we go. There's the kill. And rightfully so. It was way more probable than the option of blue getting a saving piece. That must be annoying. Now it's 7 points. The lead for blue. With this threat here still being alive, but only 2 caps left. At least this city is dead. Could, of course, expand. Crucial will be the last remaining horse. So this one here, triple city with the road. 2 points plus a huge extension of blue's ruin. This might put the game away. One problem is, though, this year I think the other way around would have been a tad more precise. In this way, there are attacking options once you connect. Yeah, blue secures this field. So even if yellow were to draw one of the caps, this would only be a 2-point move. If they meeple the field on their side, 5-point move. Now blue takes 1 cap away, so there's only a vanilla left, and they take also the field option away from yellow, and this here is the dagger. This game should be over. There's no dagger left for this square. Actually, when did this dagger hit? This year, I missed this completely. I can't remember. And well, yeah, yellow used it because they didn't want to connect blue to their field, of course. Yeah, which is fine, sure. Yellow, with the last resort, attacks blue's 6-point field, gets killed immediately, which is tad unlucky. Not really. Only 2 pieces out there for what is it for blue that couldn't have killed this. So 2 in 3 chance for blue to kill this one immediately. Yellow with the 3-point move, also still having a meeple in hand, but it's just not enough. So in the end, mtu will have turned this match around after losing the first game. Again, I think let's still have a look at the end of the first game, because his play, at least in my book, was suboptimal there, if I remember correctly. So let's refresh. Looks like Trojasenau and King Maori are still playing. If you're interested, let's take a look over there. And then afterwards, we'll take a look at mtu's endgame in the first one. Looks interesting enough with a tight score here. Okay, this one is dead. What are we having here? This looks like a blue field with 9 points as of now. Yellow city is still alive. There is another blue field, a dead city by yellow. This field, though, looks like it was the first one created in a game. And a rather early farmer here might be even on the second move of the game. I don't know. Although, wouldn't you rather take the road then? Anyway, bottom line is 2 farmers for a 9-point field are just 1 farmer too much. So that's definitely wasted equity there. This curve here, inconspicuous as it may look, killed this square because there aren't starting tiles and roses left. This city more or less is dead. So bottom line, yellow needs crossroad over here or the dagger to hit ASAP to have a chance in this game against King Maori's temporary meeple majority. Blue still would have chance maybe to attack this one and liberate their monastery at the same time, which would be nice. So this could be worth the investment. Although it gets blocked by more or less, no, not by more or less, by all city pieces, although yellow would use the dagger at the bottom to get a meeple back, quite likely. High risk, high reward. So maybe just go here and leave it empty for now, then hope to draw an extender to meeple this. And even if yellow takes away the extender option like this, for example, which they are unlikely to do, then you could still take the city and then connect with the extender. The extender attacking option, I should have said. So they go for leaving this empty. I think that's the right call. That's not the right call. Going over here would have limited your opponent's monastery to a 50-50. Yes, it's a 0-point move, but the downside of giving them exactly this option would have been worth the investment. They get saved by the deck drawing one of the pieces they needed to kill the square. But now Maori's ahead 11 points even. And this isn't insurmountable, actually. There are still options to connect over here. Although one monastery gone is bad news for yellow. This here could still work with the remaining monastery placed over here, and this would be 17 points for yellow, because the field is at 12 points now, plus 5 for this monastery over here. So this seems to be the biggest threat. Over here would work as well with curves and the monastery, or with any road piece and then a curve. So the question is it even necessary as blue to defend? Does it work? Or might be the better move to go for this 6-point road with 4 out of 7 pieces out there that would close your road. 3 out of 7, because actually you'd use the dagger over here. And if you get the dagger, you might want to add a farmer as well. So maybe they just opt to take 2 points. And yellow still has 4 moves left. So in theory, they could even execute both field attacks and not just tie the field, but win it outright. And I think that should be what they need to do at -15. So for one, they get the dagger which blue needed. And how about this here? Connecting with the curve and then going here. Also increasing this field. Yes, nice. Nice. And blue can't take this. If they do, they would give yellow the chance to connect here 2 farmers with 1. Blue even doesn't even have a meeple in hand. Yeah, so taking 1 point. Definitely a sound choice. Sorry for the slip up here. Monastery doesn't help. And by the way, this field attack is now only worth 9 points because it's a 3-point field, rather yellow 3-point field versus 12-point field by blue. So the difference is 9, which would be equalized by using a curve over here. That's not enough at -13. But they have a 5-point monastery in hand, and 5 plus 9 is 14, which would be Enough. I think they have to meeple this. They have to hope blue doesn't have a curve in their hand, and if blue has a curve in their hand, it will be blue's game. If blue doesn't, well, then there would still be the chance for yellow to draw the extender or the straight. We'll see. They count and count and count and count, and I think they have to meeple this. There's no other way. Blue has a straight and now a curve for the connection. But, oh, blue gets this one. So a 50-50 flip in the end. Blue gets 2 points. Yellow only gets the 1. If tiles were reversed, blue couldn't have done anything with the road. They wouldn't have scored anything anywhere. And yellow, of course, would have used the extender next to their monastery for a 1-point win. Ooh, so as unlikely as this was, actually need to dive deeper. But I think this was the only choice for them, and they found it. So good on Rojas to having executed this one, for pulling the trigger on that. It's not easy to find, and it definitely was their only chance. So taking over the field, they could have done this from the right side with other pieces as well, but it still works fine. Okay, that's it for now. Let's it's even a tie. Yeah, totally missed the road there. Well, it still is blue's win. Let's quickly take a look at the endgame of idinidad versus mtu's game 1. Let's switch the colors. That was the straight option, yeah. Okay. Still earlier. Oh, so yellow did go for the attack. Blue has the straight in hand, and what's the downside of going up top? There's not much, actually. If yellow, let me increase this. If yellow gets their hands on the straight or the monastery, they could, of course, defend this connection, but they'd lose the dagger to connect in this case. They could use the horse to defend the connection to the dagger. But I don't see why this isn't the move here for blue to take. So yes, yellow still has these two options to connect, but if they don't hit, you at least have these two. You still have the extender, because the extender would immediately block. You would have the horse to limit to a 50-50. You would have the straight and the monastery to limit to a 50-50 as well. Sure, the immediate block like this maybe, and scoring 4 points. Yeah, so I don't see why this move wasn't played by MTU. If you see this, Mateusz, please explain. Okay, folks, that's it for now. Not sure what's up later. I might cover Pricci versus Vapula. I will decide later, and the same goes for Foam Nice Dicer. So just keep an eye on carcassonne.gg or subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around until the end. Bye-bye.